At this time, please welcome to the stage today's Masters of Ceremonies, Dr. Cecile Renaud of the AVCA Board of Directors and the voice of the AVCA Collegiate Sand Volleyball Championships, Landrum Roberts.
The AVCA would like to welcome you to the 2014 convention and the 34th annual Jostens Coaches Honors Luncheon. Today we will honor this year's Coaches of the Year, Regional Coaches of the Year, Assistant Coaches of the Year, and induct the 2014 AVCA Hall of Fame class.
Great events like this don't happen without the support of great people and great organizations. Now in its 8th year sponsoring this event, Jostens is the signature reason this convention luncheon continues to grow in scope and stature every year. Please welcome to the podium for opening remarks, Greg Albert from Jostens.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Jostens, I am privileged to be here with you today. This afternoon, we will recognize talented individuals who have accomplished great achievements in the sport of volleyball. It's about sharing their stories and celebrating the milestones that they have made. At Jostens, we take great care in passionately helping people celebrate experiences, traditions, recognize achievements, and share their stories. We've been privileged to work with many of you and your teams over the years to create unique peace that will forever unite an exceptional group of individuals. Being a partner of the AVCA aligns with our values and mission. We appreciate the opportunity to support the development of volleyball with you both on and off the court. As we continue to expand our involvement in collegiate athletics, we are committed to the AVCA and the journey we began years ago. To all of the award recipients this afternoon, congratulations.
Few coaches and administrators have been as instrumental to the sport of volleyball, and specifically the New England region, than Bentley University head coach Sandy Hoffman. After 32 years at the helm of the Falcons, Hoffman is the winningest volleyball coach in New England and ranks 4th all-time in the NCAA Division II in wins. Her squads have won the Northeast 10 Conference regular season title outright 9 times, while earning Conference Coach of the Year on 8 occasions. However, her impact on volleyball goes above and beyond her win total or any individual accomplishment. Hoffman has been front and center in developing volleyball across New England. She started the New England All-Star Volleyball Camps, which is the first and largest volleyball camp in the region. After 20 years, they continue to sell out, drawing nearly 500 players each year. Over the years, she has consistently given back to the game she loves. It would be impossible to count the number of coaches she has touched in her journey on a regional and national level. Sandy and her teams have exemplified graciousness in defeat and humility in victory time and time again, said Smith College head volleyball coach Fran Vandermeer. She is the ultimate professional, and she has created a culture in her program of healthy competition with an emphasis on respect for teammates, coaches, opponents, and officials. She should be proud of her quantitative successes, but she should be equally proud of her reputation in the volleyball community. The AVCA salutes Sandy Hoffman.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Sandy Hoffman, and assisting with today's awards presentation, the USA Women's National Team head coach, Karch Karai.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the AVCA and Jostens and those who nominated me for this award. I want to congratulate Ruth Nelson and Sandy Vaughn on their induction. It's extremely humbling being up here in front of all of you, many of whom have competed on a much bigger stage than I could ever imagine. Those of you that have won national championships, congratulations, Chris, our D2 winner this year, who's been at this quite a long time, as long as I have. And those that have won regional titles. I'm humbled to be named to this Hall of Fame that includes 60 of volleyball's greats, including my mentors and friends in Division II, Peggy Martin, who's here, Lois Webb, and Debbie Chin. I am so fortunate to have met so many people through volleyball. The sport is great. People that are involved in this sport are great. Those people that I have played with, played against even, Randy, and those people I've coached with, my many assistants, some of whom are here, I've enjoyed those relationships so much. Through work on the AVCA committees and NCA committees, I've met so many people throughout the country. Through working camps, as well as running my own camp, we got to bring in over 50 counselors and coaches each summer and just talk volleyball nonstop. And of course, attending the AVCA convention, I think I've made it to well over 25 conventions and used to stay up very late, not anymore. I am fortunate that Bentley hired me just out of college. They were starting a volleyball program. Bentley's a small school outside of Boston, but has since boomed into one of the biggest internationally known business universities in the world. And Bentley is probably one of the most selective Division II schools in the NCAA. So needless to say, it's always been a challenge to recruit to this school. We needed to find bright, bright young women that aspired to be business professionals and recruit them without scholarships. But I wouldn't trade my experiences for any other, for I was rewarded so much by seeing over 120 players go on to be great businesswomen, own their own businesses, and raise beautiful families. I am really grateful for friends and family who can be here at my table. Jill Hershinger from New Hampshire, Fran Vandermeer from Smith, Chris Herman from Williams, Peggy Martin, my Hall of Fame buddy now, and Jennifer Bates-Weiss is here, and she was my first recruit actually to Bentley and is now the head coach at Harvard, Ivy Coach of the Year. And my former assistant, Anne-Marie Larice, and she went on to coach at Dartmouth. So I'm glad they're here. Also, Robin's over here, Robin Salters from New Haven, and my many colleagues out there in that back table from the New England area. Shout out to you guys. My brother and sister-in-law, Paul and Pat, are here. They're big Nebraska Huskers fans, so they'll be hosting all of you at their house next year with the Final Four. And my mother, Barbara Hoffman, is here, and she actually was my volleyball coach in high school, and she was also our camp store coordinator. Very strict. You couldn't even get a popsicle out of her late at night. And of course, Mary Lincoln, my rock, somebody who I'd be lost without. She knows a little bit about volleyball, but she knows so much about life and about people and has taught me so much. I am grateful to be here because 3 seasons ago, I really felt awful. My body was changing. It was becoming gross. I could hardly even work out. My emotions were all over the place after a big win or a bad loss. Usually I'd be up there in front of my team speaking my mind, but I was going home and just crying for no reason whatsoever. And I went to so many doctors for so many months, and finally they found a tumor the size of a volleyball, we call it the volleyball, in my abdomen. And so right after that season, I went through surgeries and since been going through chemotherapy. I was diagnosed with stage 4 adrenal cortical carcinoma. Nobody's ever heard of it. It's one of the most rarest cancers in the world. So I struggled through last season, coaching a great team, had great help doing that, and then by last spring and this early summer, I was feeling really good, as a matter of fact, the best I had felt since diagnosis. So of course I was really looking forward to coaching my team this year, but in the middle of the summer, my world really crashed when they told me that the treatments weren't working, cancer's spreading all over your body, and you have about 3 to 4 months to live. So now I'm thinking 3 to 4 months is right during the Northeast 10 Championships and right during our NCAA regionals. And of course, I didn't want to be a distraction to the team, and I had a great assistant who went on to be our head coach, and the team went on to do very well, and I was thrilled that I actually could watch them. I think the time off from volleyball, the prayers from many of you, and a new clinical trial, the newest wave in cancer treatment is immunotherapy, has kept me going, and for me to say I'm grateful to be here to accept this award is pretty much an understatement, but I appreciate it so much. Thank you very much.
Ruth Nelson epitomizes what it means to be an AVCA Hall of Famer from her time as a player, coach, marketer, and fundraiser. A former player on the U.S. national team in the 1970s, she went on to enter the coaching ranks, but continued to evolve into so much more. Her first coaching position was at George Williams College before rising to a national prominence as the University of Houston head coach. There, she had the honor of coaching the late Flo Hyman, Rose Majors, Cheryl Moore, and Rita Crockett. In the collegiate ranks, she totaled 16 years coaching, including stops at LSU and the University of Iowa. She also served as an assistant coach for the U.S. national team and as head coach of the U.S. junior national team. What makes Nelson great is being more than just an elite collegiate coach. She's also an expert marketer, serving as a volleyball director and director of sports and corporate marketing at the Special Olympics. The University of Northern Colorado Athletics Hall of Fame inductee has continued to help organizations market and fundraise while helping young players realize their dreams of playing collegiate volleyball. Technically and tactically, she is one of the smartest volleyball people that I have come across, said Alabama State assistant coach Valerie Armstrong. She has made such a positive impact on so many athletes, teams, and coaches, and her contribution to the sport of volleyball is huge. The AVCA salutes Ruth Nelson.
I am humbled and honored to share my time with you, especially for those of you who do not know me. For those of you who know me, I know you can't believe that I'm still training and able to move on the court with the same energy and intensity for the last 40 years. Isn't that right, Rose and Penny? What has kept me going is my love and passion for the sport, mentoring coaches that still want to coach, as well as inspiring young athletes. I also understand that without knowing and respecting the history, there is no future. I challenge you to Google the following people to learn about our legends in sport: Dr. Jim Coleman, Dr. Ari Solinger, Marilyn McGreevy, Mary Jo Pepler, Flo Hyman, Rita Crockett, Debbie Green, and five-time Olympian Daniel Scott. For you assistant coaches, recognize whether your head coach serves as a role model or a mentor or both. Learn as much as you can and respect his or her years of experience by being loyal, supportive, and a positive contributor to your team. Head coaches. In the Art of Coaching series, you see three great coaches, Russ, John, and Terry. They're successful besides being very close friends, yet their tactical approach and philosophies are different. One thing that I've learned in developing my philosophy and approach to the sport was the importance of surrounding myself around the right people. In addition, I have always selected the skills and drills based on what was biomechanically sound, anatomically correct, and what made sense. We cannot survive on our own. We learn from and share with each other. If we want to become the best we can, we need to learn from the best, whether it be your opponents, current players, former players, and fellow coaches. Surround yourself with people who have many years of experience and can provide benefits of their expertise. It has really been old school ideas that made it happen and became new school methods. There have been so many athletes and parents who have trusted and allowed me to be part of their lives. As a result, they have made my life fun and exciting and provided clear direction that I have had and been involved for over 40 years. Looking around the room, there are so many familiar faces. Many are mentors, friends, former players, and colleagues. I first want to thank several people at my table who have continued to support me and listened in spite of all my crazy ideas and visions. They include Denise Corlett, player of the first World University Games team. At that point in my career, I was relentless and disciplined in my training. And Denise and I are still friends. At least I think we are. Rose Majors-Powell, starter for setter at Houston, LSU, in the 1984 silver medal Olympic team, which achieved our first women's medal. Penny Lucas-White, starter at LSU, national team, later Dallas Bell's Women's Pro League team, along with 92 Olympic player Ruth Lewanson. All three have been very supportive of my dedication in providing opportunities for minority athletes. It is paying it forward. Each of them have been role models and mentors for others, including Ebony Wanabu over the last 10 years and Mary Kate Marshall. I have also mentored many coaches. Two of them are with us today, Valerie Armstrong and Natalie Roston. Okay, fourth one here. I have been around to come full circle as a player, a coach, an innovator, and a mentor, as well as a teacher, a motivator and a visionary. One thing is for certain, providing the best opportunity to athletes has always been first and foremost. It has provided me purpose and the means to pay it forward. One of those ways is the development of the Bring Your Own Parent program, which engages players and parents ages 4 through 10. That's the recruiting class of 2028 and 2022 for some of you assistant coaches that will be head coaches. Who would have guessed my work experience as well as my sports background in volleyball and marketing would prepare me for training young players and their parents? I invite you to come Saturday to BYOP at 11:30. Come see a 2026 recruit jump 18 inches by using a vert. By the way, for using calculator, that's a 6-year-old. What about a 2023 6-rotation 10-year-old player that's trained with me for 6 years? Come see what she can do. In conclusion, I'd like to personally thank Kathy DeBoer and the AVCA for this award and the opportunity to share some of my thoughts and experiences. I would also like to personally thank the people at my table for making our journey a lifetime lesson. I have one parting thought that has driven me for 40 years, has made a difference in my life, and I hope yours too. Love what you do what you love for as long as you love it. Thank you.
Anyone who comes in contact with Sandy Vong will say he's one of the kindest, caring, and most humble men they've ever met. He is equally revered as being one of the top volleyball minds and has been instrumental in fostering strong relationship between American and Chinese volleyball teams. As the first ever coach of the University of Michigan volleyball team in 1973, Vong coached while maintaining his full-time position as an engineer for the Ford Motor Company. His technical prowess is second to none, engineering multiple volleyball products, including the portable electronic scoreboard, the eScore. He ended up coaching the Wolverines for 11 seasons, laying the foundation for the sport at the school. Vong has been instrumental in fostering the relationship between the United States and Chinese volleyball teams, organizing over 20 trips to China since 1979. He facilitated the U.S. men's national team's trip to China for their tour and competition. He later joined the women's side as a technical consultant spanning 3 Olympic Games. He also traveled with the U.S. women's national team on 7 different trips to China and helped get the Chinese national team to the United States on 6 different occasions. Sandy is a true man of character, said University of Michigan head coach Mark Rosen. In my experiences with Sandy, he has always put the team ahead of himself and the sport ahead of everything. He's an innovative thinker who is always looking for ways to improve our sport through technology and training methods. The AVCA salutes Sandy Vong.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Mr. Sandy Vong.
Congratulations, Coach Hoffman, Coach Nelson. I'm extremely honored and humbled for the induction into this year's AVCA Hall of Fame. And I want to thank the people who nominated me and the Hall of Fame committee that voted me into this prestigious award. And I want to thank my families and friends. They came a long way to join me in sharing this exciting moment. My 6 children and spouse, 5 grandchildren, friends from China and Oklahoma, and 2 former players for me, and then coaches from Michigan. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank my wife, Mary, who's no longer with us. She has always been very, very supportive of what I do. And she has traveled all over the volleyball menus with me all over the country. And last but not least, I want to thank my mother, who made a great vision and made a great decision for me when I was very young. One day she told me that, she says, Sandy, you'll have to go to school in America. You don't have a choice. So if without that decision, I wouldn't be here standing in front of you today. And sometimes it is okay to let somebody make a decision for you. So. A little bit of my involvement with the volleyball. I was introduced to volleyball when I was 14 in China. And we played 9-person volleyballs. No antenna, no rotations, no rally scoring. 5 players can go up the net, and each player have 2 serves, very much like tennis. And I become a volleyball coach only through the necessities. In 1968, when I went back to school, graduate school at University of Michigan, I wanted to play volleyball. Michigan does not have a volleyball team, so I had to be forming a team and be a coach. And a couple of years later, the women's club team asked me to be the coach. And in 1973, when Title IX came, I became the first Michigan varsity coach. And also I was very fortunate to be able to get involved with the China volleyball. And a special thanks to Doug Beal and Terry Laskevich, who got me involved with the exchanges with the Chinese team. And I must say that the cultural exchange with China has been a very, very satisfying experiences for me. This year has been a very good year for me. I turned 85 in February, and I still play. I still play volleyball, and some would call it a soccer, because anything below the waist, I kick the ball. In May, I traveled with University of Kentucky Volleyball to China. We visited 4 cities in 14 days. And in June, I was back to China in Beijing with the U.S. AVCNT team with Mark Rosen as head coach and Lexi Dannemiller. And that was a really fun trip for me. And I also coach a group of volleyball players that are 80 and over. And we played at the Huntsman game this year in October. I am also a great fan of the AVCA mentor and mentee program. So I mentor quite a few mentees. But the most importantly, I am still working very hard on how to advance the sport of volleyball through technology. I enjoy that phase of the volleyball a lot. In closing, I'd like to borrow a quote from Lisa Rosen. I am loving the life I live in, and I'm living in the love of my life through volleyball. Thank you very much, and enjoy the Final Four.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for the 2014 AVCA Hall of Fame class. Before we take a break to eat lunch, I'd like to welcome Lori Kasser to the stage. Lori is the Convention Services Manager for the Omaha Convention and Visitors Bureau. She has a few remarks about the host city for the 2015 AVCA Annual Convention. Lori?
Hi there. We are so thrilled that you guys are going to be coming back to Omaha next year. And I just wanted to tell you all that, and wanted to, rather than tell you all the fun and things that there are to do and see in Omaha, I'd like to show you. So here's to seeing you in Omaha.